When it comes to raw power and unshakable courage, few dogs rival the Tibetan Mastiff. Bred to protect and built to endure, this towering guardian has gone toe-to-toe with nature's fiercest predators: wolves, leopards, even bears. Time and again, it proves that unmatched strength doesn't always come from the wild. It can stand guard beside it. No one knows exactly how the chaos erupted, but the ending left no room for doubt. In a whirlwind of snow and fury, a massive Tibetan Mastiff stood tall, muscles rippling, jaws clenched around the neck of a defeated wolf. The once proud predator now lay pinned against the frozen ground, howling not in defiance but in desperation. Around them, the rest of the pack lingered, frozen, not by the cold, but by fear. This wasn't just a victory, it was a message. The Tibetan Mastiff hadn't merely overpowered his enemy, he had shattered the pack's spirit. In that moment, he wasn't a dog. He was a force of nature, a ruler carved from stone and storm. In another heart-pounding standoff high in the frozen peaks, a snow leopard, stealth incarnate, tried to slip away unnoticed from a towering Tibetan Mastiff. Every paw step was deliberate, every movement loaded with tension. The leopard's eyes scanned for an escape, its body coiled like a spring, ready to bolt. But the Mastiff! He didn't move. He didn't growl. He didn't even flinch. He didn't need to. The sheer size, the quiet confidence, the unwavering gaze, it was enough to paralyze the leopard with doubt. The predator had become the prey, not through violence, but through presence. That kind of power doesn't shout, it doesn't chase. It simply is. Bears usually reign supreme in the forest, massive, powerful, and feared by nearly all. But one day, that order was flipped on its head. Out of the mist came two Tibetan Mastiffs, charging like furry battering rams straight into the heart of danger. No hesitation, no fear. Just raw, unshakable confidence. With muscles rippling and jaws ready to crush bone, they didn't wait for the bear to make a move. They made it for him. One lunged low, the other high, forcing the stunned giant to stumble backward. And then it happened. One fierce snap of those massive jaws, and the bear did something no one expected. It ran. Tail tucked. Pride shattered. In that electrifying moment, the forest's unchallenged ruler became a fleeing shadow. Another time, a leopard spotted what it thought was an easy meal. A chained Tibetan Mastiff, seemingly vulnerable and within reach. But that illusion shattered in an instant. With the force of a detonating bomb, the Mastiff lunged forward, chain rattling like a war cry, and unleashed a furious counterattack. Claws met muscle. Fangs met fury. The leopard, caught completely off guard, had no time to adjust. It was slammed to the ground, stunned by the sheer strength and aggression of its would-be victim. What started as a hunt turned into a humiliating retreat. In a matter of seconds, the predator was scrambling for escape, and the chained dog, yes, chained, stood tall, unshaken and defiant. That day, the jungle learned a brutal truth. Underestimate a Tibetan Mastiff and you'll pay the price. In this electrifying chase, a wild wolf found itself hunted. Not by another wolf or a big cat, but by a Tibetan Mastiff, thundering across the terrain like a living avalanche. Every stride was raw power, every growl a declaration. The wolf bolted, desperation in its eyes, but the Mastiff wasn't just chasing, it was proving a point. This wasn't a scuffle, it was a statement. A living wall of muscle, fury, and dominance barreling toward a seasoned predator, flipping the natural script. The message was clear. In the wild, power doesn't always wear stripes or fangs. Sometimes it comes on four legs wrapped in fur, with eyes that say, "Run." In another breathtaking moment, a mother snow leopard found herself face to face with a Tibetan Mastiff. Massive, fearless, and ready for anything. Behind her, her cub cowered in silence. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but she didn't budge. She stood her ground, muscles tense, eyes blazing. Not because she thought she could win, but because a mother's love doesn't calculate odds. It simply acts. In that frozen standoff, it wasn't strength or size that defined bravery. It was the unshakable will to protect. A silent message echoed through the mountains. You'll have to go through me first. Even with a heavy chain around its neck, the Tibetan Mastiff stood like a statue carved from stone, calm, silent, and completely unfazed. A pack of wolves circled, growling and posturing, hoping to rattle the giant. But he didn't flinch. No barking, no lunging, just a cold, unblinking stare that said everything. The wolves hesitated. Their confidence cracked. Because this Mastiff didn't need chaos to show control. He radiated authority without lifting a paw. That's not just dominance. That's the kind of presence that turns predators into spectators. That's what real alpha energy looks like. Forged in the harshest environments and raised to defend, the Tibetan Mastiff is more than just a dog. It's a force of nature. Towering and fearless, it has faced down the wild's most feared predators, wolves, leopards, even bears, and held its ground every time. Because true power isn't always born in the wild. Sometimes it's bred to protect it. With a roar like thunder and the force of a freight train, the Tibetan Mastiff launched forward, a blur of muscle and fury tearing across the rugged terrain. The wild wolf, once the hunter, was now the hunted, sprinting for its life with panic in its eyes. But this wasn't a simple chase. In another fierce encounter deep in the wilderness, a lone Tibetan Mastiff found himself face to face with an entire pack of hungry wolves, each one circling closer over a shared prize. A fresh kill. Outnumbered, surrounded, and fully aware of the odds, the Mastiff didn't flinch. His muscles tensed, his eyes locked on every movement, and with a bone-shaking growl, he stood his ground. Snarls erupted, teeth flashed, but the Mastiff was a wall of fury. He snapped with thunderous force, pushing back every attempt to close in. He wasn't just defending a meal, he was defending his pride, his dominance. And slowly, the pack began to falter. Their confidence broke under the weight of his unyielding spirit. One by one, the wolves backed off, tails low and hearts shaken. Alone but unbroken, the Tibetan Mastiff remained, victorious not just in battle but in will. In the heart of the wilderness, Tibetan and Mongolian Mastiffs stand as nature's fiercest guardians. Facing down wolves, leopards, and bears, they protect with unmatched courage and strength. These aren't just dogs, they're legends, defenders of the mountains, born to lead. Did you enjoy this video? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications.